These are no ordinary builders. They're investors, banging the last ceremonial nails into the framing of a building they've purchased. An old factory building in Berlin that's being completely renewed. Only the basic structure is finished so far. What was once a candy factory will now house luxury loft and penthouse apartments. Some of the buyers even plan to live here themselves. But most will rent the apartments out. Berlin real estate is becoming increasingly popular among investors, both from Germany and from abroad.
Berlin is in the center of Europe, much more central than Paris or London. In the near future, Berlin will soar in popularity among Germans and foreigners. You already see that in the number of people visiting Berlin. And some of the visitors will stay and bring their business here.
Many of the buyers are seeing their property for the first time. They study the floor plans and attempt to imagine how their apartment will look. Sabine Dutt and Martin Grotzinger from Stuttgart have bought a one-room apartment as an investment. They never even came to look at the neighborhood until now.
I did imagine it a little differently. I didn't expect it to be in such a raw state. But it's quite exciting. We're going to get a tour later so we can see a bit more. And as for Berlin, it's an interesting city. I come here every couple of years to see what's changed.
The factory is in Alt-Hohenschönhausen, a district that's some distance away from the city center. But that doesn't seem to bother the buyers at all, any more than they're bothered by the high-rise communist-era apartment blocks right nearby. What counts is that it's Berlin. Just under 10 kilometers away in the center of town, we meet real estate agent James Guerin. He buys and renovates property, mostly in the center, and caters to customers from abroad. A woman from Paris has just come to look at an apartment. She works in the art business and is keen to live in the city center, as are an increasing number of buyers.
The balcony. This is, the last apartment in the whole building. I think.
Property prices in this part of town are soaring because of the high demand.
Prices in this area, which is really Berlin Mitte, have been rising very steadily over the last couple of years, maybe 10% per year. Because there's less and less houses. In fact, this is the last building to be renovated in this area. So there simply isn't anything else available. So that puts a lot of pressure upwards on the prices.
Buyers now pay up to 7,000 euros per square meter of floor space here. And customers from China and Russia are often willing to pay even more to get their dream apartment in Berlin.
I don't know for how long we're going to have this option. So, yeah, and I'm in the art business, so for me it makes sense to be here. And it's a very international landscape, and yeah, I feel good here.
Back at the candy factory, the buyers are on a tour of the building. The 70 apartments here were all sold in less than 3 months. Investors now plan to build a number of small, exclusive residences on the remaining land beside it because of the enormous demand.
It's not just Americans or French people. We have customers from all over. A few years ago, it was fashionable to come to Berlin and party all weekend. Now people think it's great to stay longer. Having an apartment here is caught on, like maybe having a horse or a yacht.
Half of the new complexes have been sold, though the foundations haven't even been laid yet. And the investors know they'll have no problems selling the rest.